Bop. Oh, I'm on the wrong document. That's why you're looking at me weird and I'm looking at you weird.
Oh.
Are you both waiting for the other one to start?
Yes.
Excellent. Fluff up.
Welcome back to the Wild Ones Pro Show, coming to you after the final stage of the men's tour and stage 2 of the women's. I'm Jimmy and you are back with me and cycling journalist Katie and, of course, producer Emily.
Hiya.
Hello.
Yeah, you sounded Welsh then.
Thanks to Garmin and Van Rysel for supporting the show. First of all, let's get into the men race. First, let's get into the men's race. I'll start that again.
No, just use it all. Don't bother with the edits. Just stick it in. It's day 21.
Let's get into the men's race first. The big finale in Paris, and it was a great one. Take it away, Katie.
So much action. Where to begin? First, the winning team had a group photo. Then the Australian riders had a group photo. Then the Italian riders.
Yeah, it was literally like school photo day. I was expecting, okay, now all of the Jonases come to the front.
They should have really done that.
It's the majority of the peloton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Our first clue that perhaps things might not play out in a traditional way was that there was no sign of any champagne. Still, though, the traditional processional part of the race went ahead as normal, as 160 riders celebrated making it through 3 gruelling weeks all the way to Paris. There was a fun moment as Benjamin Thomas and Matteo Vercher battled for the day's first KOM in a reprise of their day 1 fight that ended in a crash atop Mont Cassel.
Yes, and thankfully this time everyone did stay upright.
They did, and they shook hands and had a little laugh about it. So
yeah, it was quite nice.
They've all made friends. It was nice. Pogacar and his team took to the front of the race as they moved closer to Paris, and with rain due to fall on the French capital, news reached the peloton that the race organisers had agreed to take the GC times on the 4th passage of the line, i.e. ahead of the 3 climbs of Montmartre, with 50 kilometres still to go on the stage, thus hopefully ensuring no stress for the GC riders.
This may be an unpopular opinion. I know Jimmy doesn't agree with me. However, it annoyed me very slightly because I kind of thought the whole thing felt a little bit rigged in Pogacar's favour. So they end the competition early and make it a 1-day race, which basically ensures Pogacar's going to be in that front group, because there's no way he would be allowed to be if he was gaining so much time on GC. You'd get everyone going after him, and then all of a sudden it'd be a full peloton, and then there would be no race. So I don't know. It perturbed me slightly.
I have conceded to your opinion. I do think it is fair to say if the race was still on, anywhere Pog is, the GC boys would also want to be, and therefore more people would want to be in the mix, I guess.
Yeah, no spoilers. I know Katie's going to read it out, but because of that, I think it did change the outcome of that final section.
Yeah, because obviously all the GC teams would have had to protect their leaders, which would mean lots and lots of riders all jostling for position into what was a very narrow, slippery climb. So, yeah, agreed with you. I think it was the safest thing to do, but it certainly may have played into some riders' hands. But yeah, let's see how it unfolded. So the race arrived on the Champs-Élysées for the 4 of the regular laps, which must have felt like a real slap in the face for the sprinters who'd made it all the way to Paris, only to have their classic finish snatched out from beneath them. But we were in for something completely different. Once they passed the finish line for the first time, the race was on. First to attack, guess who it was? Jonas Abramson. And guess who was chasing him? Quinn Simmons. It had the potential to be a breakaway greatest hits, with Julian Alaphilippe and then Bruno Armorai looking interested at the front, and Ben Healy giving it a nudge a little while later. But nothing stuck, with the pace infernally high and teams marking one another out, particularly Visma Leasebike, who were riding for Wout van Aert. The first move that stuck was Quinn Simmons pushing clear with Florian Lipowitz, which was a bit of a surprise. They stayed clear for around 10k, but as they headed away from the regular lap towards Montmartre, Alpecin and Tudor attacked, and as they hit the climb, Alaphilippe launched his first attack, and with Arnaud Delis on his wheel. But as they reached the top, it was the yellow jersey himself, Tadej Pogacar, who led with Van Aert in his wheel.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
It's almost as if someone wrote a script for it. After that, a lead group formed that included a real mixture of riders. There were 28 riders in the front group, with Biniam Girmay, Victor Campenaerts, Matej Mohoric, Valentin Paris-Pantra, Kevin Vauquelin, and many more. The rain began to fall after that, and the roads were slick. With Matteo Jorgensen now in the group 2, Visma took control of the pace setting, drilling it on the front. But as they moved up the climb for the second time, Pogačar upped the pace, doing his best to shell the fast guys in the group. And it worked, sort of. He shredded the group. Only 4 other riders were able to stick with his pace: Van Aert, Jorgensen, Davide Ballerini and Matteo Trentin. And shortly after that, Matej Mohoric was able to join them. The group of 6 worked well together and steadily built a lead over the following lap, and Pogačar was noticeably letting the wheel go in front of him.
Either he was absolutely knackered, or more likely because of the conditions, he was giving himself some space so that if anything did happen in front of him, he'd have time to react. I'm pretty certain I've seen him do this on big mountain descents as well in the classics and even last year's Tour. He likes to give himself, he's comfortable enough that he doesn't need to be millimetres on the wheel in front of him, and he can just ride himself back onto it when appropriate.
Yeah, he's Tadej Pogačar. He can sort of close a couple of bike lengths if he needs to. Also, we were talking about, imagine if you were the rider on Pogačar's wheel and he was taking a turn at the front and accidentally cross wheels with him or something. That would be terrible. Very stressful.
You end up getting death threats like poor Tobias Johannesson.
Oh, and Brian Coquard.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want any more of that. Thankfully, that didn't happen. That isn't a spoiler alert. Jorgensen tried a series of attacks, but they headed onto the final ascent of Montmartre with Pogačar in the lead. We thought he might drop one of his explosive attacks, but it was Wout van Aert who launched instead, putting space between himself and the yellow jersey. And as they headed onto the descent, he had 6 seconds, and he added to that over the final kilometres as the group behind couldn't claw their way back to him. In the end, the group tried everything, but they could not catch him. Wout van Aert won stage 21.
Yes! This is why I was so giddy at the start of the episode. Genuinely, before that last 10 kilometres, we were having a discussion about whether we should take some Pro Plus because we were so low on energy. It has been a very long tour, and all of a sudden, I've had a second lease of life.
It was a fantastic stage, to be fair.
It was really good.
The first chunk was very boring, watching people get their holiday snaps done. But it all kicked off in excellent fashion. The intermediate sprint was non-existent, wasn't contested. It may as well have not have been there. But I suppose that would have been different if there was points between the top rivals. But all in all, that was great. And contrary to probably what a lot of people think, I think the rain helped it be exciting because it added a whole additional level of jeopardy in the race.
I think it's easy to say in hindsight because nobody crashed that we saw anyway. We didn't see any crashes, which is brilliant. So yes, I think it added to that kind of concertina effect as they were coming into corners, just really, really laying off the speed and then picking it up again as they went round. And it was a bit scary at times, especially when Wout was going down the descent after he'd attacked. And very tense. But yeah, really exciting. A different format, something we haven't seen before. It was really good.
See, for me, that's way more interesting and engaging and exciting than a sprint finish. Because the sprint finish, it just builds and builds, and then you've got 15 seconds of, oh yeah, what's going to happen? Oh, hopefully no one crashes. Okay, this is who's won. Whereas that was 30 kilometres of action.
Yeah, it was good.
It's great. Mm-hmm. It was properly like a classic.
Yeah, it's like a city crit race, but with cobbles and hills and just a bit of everything. And the crowds are amazing as well. And the rain thrown in for good measure and ominous skies. And it was just, looked awesome.
Interestingly, I think there should be more crit racing. It's just such an exciting format, like city centre crit.
Mm-hmm. That was my pick in the
overrated, underrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And now you can see why.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Wout's second win on the Champs-Élysées. He beat race favourite Jasper Philipsen back in 2021. So he has a bit of a habit of beating potentially the race favourite. I would have said, based on the neutralised thing that came in, Tadej was the race favourite today, and Wout's gone and done it.
He at least wanted it the most.
Who did?
Tadej.
How do you know?
Oh, he's my mate.
Oh, okay.
He definitely wanted to go over the finish line because we looked this up, didn't we? It's only ever happened twice before. Same guy, Bernardino, has done it twice, and Merckx has never done it, so he would have done something that Merckx has never done. So.
I tell you who wanted it more than Tadej.
Wout van Aert.
The A.S.O.
Oh, God.
They wanted that. Listen, people have been questioning Visma's tactics for 3 weeks now, but maybe this was the plan all along. Get Vingegaard to tire out Tadej Pogačar, ready for Wout to strike on the final day and get the win.
You sound like you're in a drama class.
It's genius. It worked perfectly. All played into their hands in the end, and They got what they came for, right?
Yeah.
Wow, on a stage.
The stage as well. They can
The stage.
they can just change the banner on the photo. So it just says Wout van Aert Tour de France winner, because it'll have the the usual Champs-Elysees backdrop, and it'll look
Exactly.
like he won.
That's what they were here for.
Yep. To be fair though, it's easy to beat Pog when you're 3 hours and 34 minutes down on him.
Perhaps, Jimmy.
3 hours.
Perhaps.
He's well
Is
rested.
he actually 3 hours?
3
down?
hours, yeah.
Flump my neck. Okay.
You could argue, well, he's done 3 hours more riding, or I would argue he's been chilling.
Something I also want to point out is that Wout and Arensman did what Jonas failed to do, which is drop Pogi on a climb.
They did. They did both do that. And it's really fascinating to think about the psychological impact that it might have on the peloton. We've seen Pogi attack on climbs time and time again, and very quickly the riders behind will just look at each other and go, well, he's gone then. And just like, right, who's getting second? Let's fight for the second. And I just think that perhaps this might be a bit of a turning point for other races and for the future of the tour, that riders will look and think, those guys can do it. Why can't I? It's cool.
Totally. And I don't mean that in a way of taking anything away from Pogačar, because he is brilliant and I do like him. But also the psychological, he lives rent-free in everyone's head. And if you don't try, you never know. Like on that stage where Arensman won the second one, Vingegaard didn't dare attack because he thought he was going to lead Pog to victory. And if he had, he maybe would have won that stage. And again, I think it's just about like, be bold.
Van der Poel also beat Pog.
Oh, that's true. He did.
But he always does. Well,
That was
not always
last
does.
year, wasn't it? No, that was 3 weeks
Feels
ago.
like last
I know
year.
it feels like last year.
I think that's what I was saying earlier, is that like Pogačar, maybe he wilted a little bit, because we've seen him being in a bit of a bad mood this week and he wants to go home and he just doesn't look himself. And I think he just misses his mate Mathieu, because I
Yeah.
think that he sees in Mathieu van der Poel a rider who he can race, who can actually beat him. And there's so few guys left that can beat him. Yeah, well, there's no guys really, apart from Wout van Aert and Simon Arensman. But at that point, when Mathieu left, this is a guy who he can take on, and he doesn't know if he's going to win. And I think he thrives on that, actually. I think he likes the competition. So no wonder he's getting a bit bored if he can't find anyone to beat him. But now, he's got some other adversaries. So
Do you know what Pog calls Van der Poel?
No.
Mathieu, mate.
Mario, mate.
Mate. Mathieu, mate.
I'll tell you who he doesn't call Mathieu, mate. Mathieu Jorgensen. I don't think those two have gotten on very well this tour.
I would agree.
No, not going to be sending each other any Christmas cards this year.
Anyway, it was then time for the podiums.
It was. And I'm absolutely thrilled to announce, it's going to come as a huge surprise to you all, Tadej Pogačar won the 2025 Tour de France.
Wow. Congratulations.
Wow. Congratulations to him. His 4th tour win. Amazing. You can't take that away from him. That was an incredible performance and he smashed it. Rounding out the podium, we had Jonas Vingegaard in 2nd and Florian Lipowitz in 3rd. Lipowitz also takes the white Young Riders jersey.
Cracking that. Good effort.
Nice.
Definitely going to see a lot more of him coming through, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, definitely. The Green Points jersey goes to Jonathan Milan, and the King of the Mountains also goes to Tadej Pogačar, who had to visit the podium again.
Nice. So Mystic Bella was right on all of her predictions.
Was she? Didn't she just pick it'll be one of the riders on all of them?
No, I am lying. She picked Tadej for GC, and that's the only one she got right. But better than last year. She's improving. She's learning.
100% better.
She's like AI. She learns. She's going to be running the show next year. Now, we sometimes do a section in our main podcast called UCI Fine of the Week.
Oh, I've got a jingle for that, haven't I? UCI, Fine of the Week, Fine of the Week.
Nice. Well, this might be the UCI fine of the tour, because the UCI have fined and yellow carded themselves.
Yay!
Kind of. You genuinely couldn't make this up. So apparently one of their official red cars nearly crashed into several riders, including Kevin Vauquelin, as the driver tried to overtake them on the Col de Pré on Friday. Wilder still, the car's passengers included race director Christian Prudhomme and the head of the UCI's commissioners jury. That same jury later determined that the driver was driving dangerously and fined him 500 Swiss francs, and he was yellow carded.
And clearly sacked because his bosses were in the car.
Awkward. Yeah. But that isn't the fluff up of the day. We got another one. Day. Because we actually recorded 5 minutes of this show before realising someone forgot to turn the audio on.
Oh, Bella, you forgot to press the button, goddammit.
Yeah, she hasn't learned that bit. No, it was me, and I blame 21 almost straight days of work. So never mind. Okay, we're going to crack on to the other podium prizes, the alternative jerseys. The first one is the neon jersey. That's awarded to the rider drawing attention to themselves. Do you want to tell us about the notable mentions in this category?
I will. So, yeah, we had a few people really trying to grab the limelight at this race. Number one was Thymen Arensman for daring to attack Pogačar in stage 19 when no one else would. Mm-hmm. Number two, Quinn Simmons. He tried some more. He looked like that and he kept trying. Like, how could you not look at him? He was always there. And another honourable mention, Oscar Onley. He had an amazing tour. We thought Lipowitz would be on this list too, but he's won the white jersey, which makes him ineligible for an alternative jersey. So Oscar would be a worthy winner too.
He would indeed. Quinn did win, what was it, like best teammate or something like that? It's a new prize for 2025, so he's got something.
Bro of the year.
Bro of the year. The winner of the neon jersey we are giving to Julian Alaphilippe. He had crashes, he had premature celebrations, he had his cardboard sign antics. We saw him out the front on Montmartre trying to do bits. He has been noticeable, I would say.
Yeah, and even his riding style, you just know it's him, don't you? Mm-hmm. He's cool.
Next, the Hawaiian jersey. This is for the person having the chillest tour. Never off the back, never out front.
And the winner is Magnus Cort.
Yay!
He already had the jersey, but he keeps it. Was he even at the race?
I honestly still don't know.
We did almost see him today. There was word that he'd gone away in one of the little mini breaks that tried to make a move, but we couldn't tell because he was hiding behind Nilsson Powless, because I don't think he wanted to lose the Hawaiian jersey.
Fair enough.
I thought you were going to say because they all look the same, or the whole of Uno X are just like blonde, 6 foot tall, 75 kilos. They're identical, aren't they?
And lastly, the doomed jersey.
And the winner, well, Jonas Vingegaard retains that jersey. He said he was going to risk losing it all for first, but he just ended up defending. He's an incredible rider and a generational talent who is doomed to be in the shadow of Tadej right now.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
Right now.
At the end of the day, I don't have any particular... Well, I do have some favourites, but I don't actually talk about my own personal preferences. What I want is entertaining racing, and the best entertaining racing we are going to see is when Vingegaard is confident enough to go, well, exactly what he said. He said he was willing to lose second, but he clearly wasn't. And there was times he could have just gone all out and actually lost his second place, but we would have gone people's champion. He is trying, he's fighting, he's trying to take the race to Pog, but he just didn't.
No, he's not the people's champion. The people's champion, of course, goes to Wout van Aert. Oh, no, wait. No, it doesn't, because we put out a poll yesterday and he wasn't included. So he will just have to remain my people's champion. So in the people's champion...
Do you refer to yourself as people?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Emily's champion.
The royal we.
So we had 4 options. Ben Healy, previous winner, Jonas Abrahamsson, Geraint Thomas, and the Shimano Stig. And the outright winner with 58% of the vote was Ben Healy, who also won the Combativity Award. So I don't know if that actually makes him ineligible. It's fine. The vote had already gone.
Well, yeah, we'll keep him in because otherher's the Shimano Stig gets it and that will upset
I don't know
me.
why that upsets you so much, Jimmy.
He's not even a bike rider.
That's fine. That's why it's funny. That's humour.
It's not meant to be funny. It's meant to be serious.
Okay,
Doesn't anyone know that everything we do is really serious?
Fine. There was some rumblings of why we didn't include Lipowitz. He's ineligible. He has the white jersey. There was rumblings of why we didn't include Oscar Onley. He would have done well in there. I think Geraint pipped it because it is his last tour, so it's his
'Cause
last
he's
year of
Welsh.
eligibility.
Because he's Welsh and I'm Welsh.
Next year we will put in Oscar Onley and you can vote for him. And I think he would still lose to Ben Healy, if I'm completely honest. But
No,
there
he's
we
not
go.
allowed to go in next year because he'll be winning the white jersey.
Well, this is it exactly. I think so too. I think he's going to be winning a lot more prestigious jerseys than this.
But also, I get a strong vote on who goes in the competition. So next year, Geraint Thomas will be in it again.
Okay, fine.
He's always the people's champion.
It's your people's champion.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy's
It's
champion.
Jimmy's champion.
Yeah. The Wild Ones Pro Show is supported by Garmin.
And we are in some really good company because Garmin also supports some of the very best riders in the Tour de France and the Tour de France Femme.
Yeah, they work with teams like Vismalisa Bikes, Soudal Quickstep, SD Works Pro Time, FDJ Suez, and many more.
And because Garmin provides these teams with trainers, head units and wearables, they've got access to mountains of incredible data.
And they're going to share some of that data with us throughout the coming stages. So we'll get a really interesting insight into the physical demands of the most prestigious bike races in the world.
So please stay tuned for that. And once again, thanks to Garmin for supporting the show.
How would you like to win a Van Rysel RCR-F 105 Di2 worth £5,000?
I would love to. I've ridden that bike. It is proper good.
Well, sorry, Jimmy, you can't. But one of our UK listeners will, thanks to our sponsor, Van Rysel.
That's class. The RCR-F is literally a Tour de France race bike.
Yeah, the official bikes of Decathlon, AG2R, Le Mondial.
The 105 version has the same grade of carbon that the pros ride.
So to enter the draw to win this bike, click the link in our description. You must be a UK resident, age 18 or over, and T's and C's apply. One winner will be chosen by Van Rysel and contacted by them a week after the draw closes at midnight on August 4th. I sound like one of those radio adverts, don't I?
No, it wasn't fast enough. So good luck, and thanks to Van Rysel for supporting the Wild Ones Pro Show.
And with that, we close this chapter of tour coverage for the year, but don't be sad because we still have another week of fun and games over in the women's race, so let's get into it.
So Katie, could you do the honours and talk us through what has happened today?
Yes, I will, except I can't fill you in on the full race as we missed the first 25 kilometres. Sadly, there was no live coverage.
Yes, I absolutely take back my comment from yesterday about how good the coverage has been. It has been great, but it was quite annoying to have turned up for the neutralised start time this morning and then have been twiddling our thumbs for the best part of an hour.
Yeah, it caught us out a little bit.
It did.
It turns out there are only 3 out of 9 stages being broadcast in full, so sadly that we can only bring you coverage from around 80-something kilometres onwards. When it kicked in, there was a breakaway of 2 riders up the road, Aude Bionic of Movistar and Franzi Koch of Picnic Post-Danel. It seems there had been quite a battle before that, and also a couple of crashes, sadly, including one that involved Olympic road race champion Kristen Faulkner of EF. The tension was high as the bunch approached the day's intermediate sprint, with the gap to the break dropping to 50 seconds. The sprint was a straight-up head-to-head between Marianne Vos and Lorena Wiebes, and it was a real battle, with Wiebes only just edging Vos on the line. They picked up points, of obviously not the full points as the breakaway swept up the first 2 sets, but still adding to their totals in the green jersey competition. Heading on to the first of 4 categorised climbs, the peloton closed in on the breakaway, with 3 points available at the summit of the climb. Liverlula Jayco's Silke Schmolders attacked first, with KOM leader Elise Chabet on her wheel, and the 2 riders went head-to-head. Schmolders dug deep and made a big effort to take the full 3 points.
Someone who was sadly taken out of contention for those QOM points was Nadia Gontova of Windspace Orange Seal, and that was because her bike was basically completely immobilised because there was a fan's flag mangled into her back wheel.
It is wonderful that there is so much support for professional bike racing, whether it be men's or women's. But stop interfering with the race. Come on.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday as well. There must have been some headwinds or crosswinds, and I think like 5 people's caps just kind of blew onto the finishing straight all at once. And I don't know whether the wind was maybe a bit of an issue again today, because I did see another cap. But yeah, it always is really annoying when that happens.
There was a plastic bag in somebody's wheel as well, wasn't
There
there?
was,
Or somebody's
yes,
derailleur. Yeah, so obviously a bit of debris on the road today.
Mm-hmm.
But great to see how many fans there are out in Brittany. That area is really doing well, supporting the race. The 2 riders pushed on at the head of the race and were later joined by Maud Reenbeek of Volker Vessels to make it a lead trio. Chabet out-sprinted Schmolders for the next 2 QOM climbs, and Mavis Squibben of UAE Team ADQ replaced Reenbeek in the leading group. Canyon Schramm were aggressive at the front of the bunch, heading toward the bonus second sprint, But though the breaks lead dropped below 30 seconds, they swept up all of the bonus seconds. The short climb did prove to be the perfect launch pad for Kasia Niewiadoma-Finney though, and Pauline Ferrand-Prévot followed her closely. And they got a bit of a gap, with Demi Vollering nowhere in sight at this point.
Yeah, it was quite hard to work out where Demi was, but it looked like her team put the graft in to close the gap back in. I think, well, we're pretty certain there was also some help from AG Insurance riding for Kim LaCourt as well. Yeah,
Vollering was either caught out of position or just wasn't too worried. So we're not sure really what happened there. Little Trek's Rihanna Marcus launched a move from the bunch after that, and the gap to the leaders stretched out to 30 seconds again. Though when Visma Lease Bike took up the pace setting for Marianne Vos, the gap began to reduce. The break of 4 were finally caught with 12 kilometres remaining, and heading towards the finale, Liva Lula-Jaco's Mavi Garcia pushed clear of the bunch. She opened up a gap of 20 seconds, which held until the final climb. Onto that climb, and FDJ Suez's Juliette Labous attacked, and heading for the summit, Demi Vollering kicked, testing the legs. But it seemed it was nothing more than that, and the GC favourites regrouped, still with Garcia in the lead. Over the top of the climb, the peloton had slimmed down to only around 40 or 50 riders. Everything stretched out on the descent, and Garcia still led the race by 12 seconds with 2 kilometres remaining. Despite struggling at points during the day, Lotte Kopecky was able to come through to lead the peloton into the final kilometre, and she put down some serious power before peeling off and handing over to Anna van der Breggen, with Lorena Wiebes still within the group. Heading up the steep kicker to the finish line, a group of punchy specialists led the charge, with Niewiadoma-Finney, Liana Lippert and Kim LaCourt, but they couldn't drop Wiebes or Vos. Garcia, though, she rode an amazingly gritty final kilometre, digging deep to ride to her first victory at the Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift, holding off the group behind. From that group, Wiebes won the sprint for second, and Kim LaCourt came through in third, her second podium finish in as many days.
And I was literally screaming at the television, "Keep going, Mavi, don't look back," because I had her in my fantasy league. It was such an awesomely tense and exciting final couple of K, wasn't it?
It was really good. The course design was just amazing today. I really loved all the ups and downs. It just stretched out, came back together, stretched out again. It gave us a chance to look at the mettle of the likes of Wiebes and Vos, who are really kicking. You know, they're digging deep to sprint it out even after those steep finishes. But yeah, Garcia she dug so deep. You could see her grit in her teeth. And at one point I was certain that the bunch behind would catch her. It was amazing to see her stay away.
The polka dot jersey was being very highly contested, which was great to see as well. That was lots of little battles, like proper big sprints as well. Actually, we saw it was very similar at the beginning of the men's race, wasn't it? Because there was the crash on stage one, or stage. I think it was stage one for the comp points.
Yeah, and I think similarly in these opening couple of stages, we've seen maybe a little bit higher tension. It's been a little bit crashy. Thankfully, nothing too major at this point. But yeah, maybe it's the similar kind of like nerves settling sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the Brittany streets are quite narrow in places. There's like little bits of cobbles, lots of little walled bridges and things like that. For the most part, they've stayed mostly safe. There's been a few crashes and a few mechanicals as well, actually, that we've seen. But yeah, just lots of little niggly bits, which hopefully the nerves will settle now that they're 2 stages in.
And as everyone keeps pointing out and reminding Mavi Garcia, she is the oldest rider at the Tour,
She must love
41 years old. So up there with you and Geraint, Jimmy. And where's your Tour win? Your Tour stage win?
Oh yeah, I'm a shame, aren't I, to the older people?
No, but this is going to be the biggest win of her career. It's absolutely awesome. And my favourite bit out of both of these stages has been how genuinely happy all of the teammates have been when one of their team wins.
Yeah, we saw Letizia Paternoster in floods of tears of joy at the finish line. This is what we love to see in cycling. Team celebrations. They know inside that team how hard Mavi will have worked. She might have had her eye on this stage beforehand, or she might have just tried her luck on the day. We'll find out in her post-race interview and learn more about it. But it's just lovely to see the way the teams celebrate each other's victories.
ya va siendo hora de pensar en retirarse y la verdad es que estaba ya pensando qué hacer no lo estaba pasando muy bien este año, pero la verdad es que esto me da un plus de energía muy.
JKO are legitimately the coolest pro team as well, though. There was actually a really good shot of an overhead shot of all of the teams celebrating together, and I hadn't appreciated how good the ombre is in their helmet.
Yeah.
And it just
It
looks
is a
so
cool
good.
kit. I think FDJ Suez's kit is also very cool. And, you know, it's very understated. It's kind of just black with a lot of white logos on, but it looks cool. And it's
very
got a little
CADE kit,
flash.
that, isn't it?
It's awesome, yeah. Mention quickly Fantasy League. It hasn't been enough to pull me up in the ratings, but Benny, our very own Benny, is not only leading our staff league, he's also leading the overall CADE League currently, and he's 45th overall on the site.
Yeah, but maybe it's not him because it doesn't say Benny.
He's called himself Fixie Fox, which is fine. He has Vollering, Nuvia Doma,
Yeah, but how do we know it's him?
Voss, Ferron Prevost, Petersa, and then I stopped being able to pronounce the names. Cicchini.
You're close.
And 3 riders who currently have no points, but those points have got him into a very strong position.
Well done, Benny.
Well done, Benny. Okay, so what does today's stage mean for the jerseys?
So we have a change on GC. Kim Lecourt and Voss are tied for first place on time, but Lecourt will wear the yellow jersey tomorrow by dint of the fact that she has 2 high finishing positions as opposed to, well, Marianne Voss won yesterday. It doesn't get much higher than that. But yes, they combine the finishing positions to determine the yellow jersey in a case of tied time. It's pretty awesome because Lecourt becomes the first African rider to wear the yellow jersey. She's Mauritian champion, in case anyone was watching wondering what is that jersey she's wearing, because it looks a little bit like the world champs stripes. It's actually the Mauritian national champions jersey. And now she'll wear yellow.
Nice.
Pretty cool. Elisa Longoborghini today, though, lost 1 minute and 53 seconds. She'd already said in the pre-race interview today that she wasn't riding for GC, and this pretty much confirms it. So look out for her and going for stages later on in the race. But I think when we were talking yesterday about whether she might be a bit tired from the Giro, I think this pretty much confirms that she's just going to save herself for later in the race.
Fair enough.
Have some fun, you could say.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't mention it yesterday, but the white jersey also exists in the women's version of the race. The age cutoff is a little bit lower, though.
Yeah, it's quite a lot lower. It's sort of under 23 in the sense that it's riders born on the 1st of January 2003 or later. So it'd be weird if they had to be born on that date. Very narrow. As it is, the field is extremely narrow. Just 12 riders are eligible. It's 22 and a half and under.
Yeah.
Very well-known category.
Classic.
It is classic, isn't it? Currently, Julie Bago of Cofidis is leading that competition. So a French woman in a jersey. That's good.
Also, perhaps, luckily.
Also, perhaps luckily, given what we've seen of Cofidis in the men's race.
And the women's, they got the bike
Yes,
stolen
good
as well.
point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, she's bucking the trend. Well done, Julie. Green jersey.
Well, actually, we made a small fluff up yesterday. We thought Kim Lecourt would be wearing it today as she was ahead of Vollering, but her national champs jersey took precedence. So it was Vollering that wore it today. Quite odd to see Vollering wearing a points jersey, but it's always good. After today's stage, however, Voss is leading the points competition, and because she's lost yellow, she'll be rightfully wearing that one tomorrow.
And then the QOM jersey, Elise Shabby is leading that competition by 4 points now, but it's very much still all to play for, isn't it?
Yeah, and as Jimmy said, hotly contested. The QOM jersey points will be, great races throughout, little intermediate races.
So we had one abandon this morning, didn't we?
Yeah, sadly, Charlotte Cole of Picnic Post-Nl wasn't able to start the race today. She's a sprinter. She actually won 2 stages, the opening 2 stages of last year's, or maybe 2 in the first 3, of last year's Tour de France fan, beating Lorena Wiebers in a rare moment of Wiebers not being completely invincible. But sadly for Cole, she had to withdraw before today. She crashed a couple of weeks ago at the Baloise Belgium Tour, and I think that was the final stage of the tour as well. So she must be gutted to not be fully fit to ride here and try and go for another stage win this year.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for that roundup. We are going to do fun stuff like Mystic Bella and our alternative jerseys starting tomorrow. But as this has been a long show covering 2 races, we will finish it off today with the Stage 3 preview.
So on to Stage 3. It's a long one, but not the longest. 163.5 kilometres from La Garcia, heading inland to Angers. It's the first stage classified as flat on this year's race, though the race does include 1,320 metres of vertical ascent. There's an early Cat 4 climb, but aside from that, the route itself it's not going to pose too much difficulty. We may see some crosswinds in the exposed sections of the route, however. There's a late intermediate sprint at 123.4 kilometres before what is likely to be a bunch sprint finish, and Lorena Wiebes will be looking to grab her first stage win of 2025.
We talked a little bit yesterday about unwritten rules and how they might differ between the men's and women's pelotons. Do we typically see on sprint stages like this the GC sitting back and leaving it to the sprinters?
Not really. It's a different sort of situation. It's not one where, yes, the sprint teams will try and ride to show their intention and to chase down breakaways and that kind of thing. However, all rules are off really when it comes to the Tour de France FAM and women's racing in general. If there's a win to be gone for, then someone will go for it. And we've seen some great breakaway wins on sprint stages in the past, and you can bet your life that the girls will be well up for going for it tomorrow. There's no guarantees whatsoever that Wiebes will get her chance. So yeah, especially if the crosswinds come into play, then the GC riders have to be up there being really careful that they don't get caught behind a split and lose time.
And I imagine it is a very lumpy, bumpy profile, although not many categorised, so maybe more chance for things to break up.
Yeah, potentially.
Nice. Well, we shall bring you all the action from stage 3 tomorrow, and until then, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
You say a bit louder.
Bye.
Okay, fine. Don't say it louder.
Bye, bye, bye. See ya.